country, and I started hugging everyone.
Oh, yes.
You know, and then, what is she doing?
Right, I love hugs though. I do.
Is she coming on to me?
Hey, beautiful people of Success Mentor, Dante J. Worth, and I'm back with another video right here on Audacious Believer TV. Woo! Now, if this is your first time tuning in, I need you to make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure that you like this video. And make sure that you comment down below. Because me and my team absolutely love to read your comments. Now, tonight, we're being joined by the wonderful, the fabulous, the one, the only. Tell them who you are, darling.
My name is Hilda Rosario Asher.
So we're inviting Hilda on tonight to talk about perseverance through anything. Before we talk about that, we're going to ask you the question we ask every single guest. What is your story?
What is my story? My story is a long story.
Okay, girl, we got time.
I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. Yes, I grew up in poverty. 4 o'clock, I had to go look for food.
Wow.
Walk 2 miles to school. Did not learn to read until I was in 3rd grade.
Wow.
There was a principal that really liked me, and she took me to her office every day.
Wow.
For 45 minutes, and that's how I learned. But I grew up like all the families that I served throughout my years. There was a lot of domestic violence, there was alcohol abuse, and there was, a lot of poverty around me. We were eight kids. I was the youngest. And just to make a long story short, my mom left my dad and she moved to the city because she got tired of being beat up, and she remarried. I stayed with my dad because my dad, I was he's codependent. I wanted to take care of him. But I went from home to home because he couldn't have me. So one day my mom came and she asked me to go live with her. I didn't want to, but of course I was 8 years old, so I had to follow her. Little did I know, my mom had remarried, and she remarried, and he was a pedophile, and I was the prize. So just to make a long story short, when my mom moved to Rochester with her husband, I was grown. I had gone to college already after many barriers that I faced. I asked her, because she got cancer, it took some time to be with her and take her to her treatment. And I asked her, didn't you believe me? And she says, it's not that I didn't believe you, it was that I had 8 kids. I had to sacrifice one for 7, because otherwise we would all have to live under a bridge. My answer was that I would have preferred to live under a bridge than to endure what I endure. So that's why I dedicated my life to really lift people out of poverty, because families that live on poverty, they feel hopeless, and they think that they are making the best decisions, when in reality, it may not be, but it is for them. And we have to understand that. And I tell you, I was very lucky that God gave me the opportunity to serve this community and to really work with families and get them really out of poverty and to improve their quality of life. Now, throughout all of this, at one point in my life, my heart was full of hate and anger, and I open my heart when I pray, and I fill my heart with love, and this love for humankind, and that is what I have really done. I love this community, and a lot of the things that I have done, it's really because just out of the love that I have for the community and for families.
When you think about what perseverance through anything, you shared a little bit of your story, but what comes to mind for you? What does that mean to you?
What is doing the impossible? Yes. Never to give up.
Never give up.
Never to give up.
That's good.
Always. I recently, that I ran for office, and one of the things was that you had to collect petitions, and it was at a time when COVID was just starting.
Yes.
And I remember being in Albany on a weekend, and they were just saying that about this virus. And my campaign manager called me and told me and said, we are like 150 signatures behind.
Oh my gosh.
I said, oh great. So that's it. I'm quitting. I had some friends around me, and they said, no, you're not quitting.
I know that's
no
right.
Way.
That's right.
This coming weekend, we're coming to Rochester, and we're going to help you get all those
that
things.
is That's awesome.
So, in life, when you treat people with love,
yes,
and that has been the way, my leadership style, treating people with respect and with love. And when you treat people with love, they'll follow you.
Oh, that's good. That's so true. It's true. It's very true. Very true.
And I never asked any of the staff to do anything that I was not willing to do myself.
Oh, that's good.
So,
that's so good.
I had a very successful career. The staff really loved me, and I loved them. I still, I love this community.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So, is there a leader out there right now that you look up to or that inspires you?
That inspires me, Michelle Obama.
Yes! Hey, Michelle! Yes! Michelle Obama. Why Michelle? What was she doing for you?
She is the picture of the perfect lady.
Yes, excellence, isn't she?
The excellence. That's what it is.
Yes.
And also being able to be, representing a minority community and be, for me, I think that she has been the best first lady.
Yes, she has. And she's still my forever person. Yes. So I know that you talked about having friends. A lot of times when we look at leaders, we're like, okay, leaders are always in the forefront. Who do they lean on? Where do you find peace?
Where do I find peace? Talking to some friends. I have a very few, but very close friends.
Yes.
Particularly one person that I talk to her all the time.
Aww.
So and she's like, you always need that second opinion.
Yes, you do.
She'll say, Hilda, no.
We need some people like that though. We need that person.
Yes. So, yep.
Yes. So for that young person out there who may be in where you were years ago, could you talk a little bit about your story and having that trajectory of shift of growing up with your mother and that traumatic experience? For that child that is out there watching right now, what would you say to them to just inspire them to have hope?
Oh, you can do it. I'm telling you. you need to have the commitment, you have to work hard, and you have to be resilient. If I was able to do it under the conditions that I was living in, I lived in a one bedroom shack.
Wow.
To 8 kids.
Wow.
We took turns sleeping in the floor. So and you know, even with all of that, I knew that I wanted more.
Yes,
I
yes.
wanted
Always want more. Always want
in
more.
life.
Yes.
I wanted more in life, and it didn't matter what came my way.
Yes.
I always overcame those barriers. You know, I kept my eye right
Yes, on the
where
prize.
I wanted to go.
Yes.
Yes, and I did it.
That's good. You did it, honey. You sure did it. What has been the hardest lesson for you to learn that took you the longest to learn?
The longest to learn.
It's all right. Let it marinate.
I think, yeah, the longest to learn. You know, it was getting into a different culture. Growing up in Puerto Rico, you have the culture is completely different.
Yes.
I came to this country and I started hugging everyone.
Oh, yes.
You know, I know. What is she doing?
Right, I love hugs though. I do.
Is she coming on to me?
right.
So and you know, because that's who I am.
Yes.
I love people and I love to hug people
Right.
and let them know that I love them.
Yes.
You know, so not everybody is like that, and in this country you gotta have that. You know,
Social distancing.
the distance, you know, and I invade people's
It's
space.
okay. I do it sometimes.
I invade people's space, and I try to really remind myself, you know, that I cannot do that.
Yes.
But in this community, I think that people already know me, so they are okay if I invade their space. But that was, you know, culturally wise, that was probably very difficult for me to learn that space. I remember when I started working in foster care, I go to a meeting and there is this guy from the States. So
He's like, what are you doing?
yeah, he thought that it was that I liked him.
Oh, God, have mercy. No, sir.
No, that's it. Yeah, that's the way I am.
Yes. So are you ready for rapid fire questions? Just say yes. Favorite book?
My favorite book is La Vida.
La Vida.
Yes, that is in Spanish.
Okay.
Sotomayor.
Sotomayor. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Because we have some similar experiences. Her growing up in this part of Santurce, which it was close to where I was living, and it was basically the ghetto. You know, it was public housing next in one side. I lived in this, so we moved from one bedroom shack to a 2-bedroom.
Wow, look, it's upgrade. It's an upgrade. Yes.
Yeah, so but I you know, I worked very hard. I studied very hard because I had a vision.
And look at you now, honey. Look at you now. Favorite movie?
Shall we dance?
Shall we dance? Let's do it! And what do you see when you look in the mirror? Yes. It's okay to be vulnerable.
No, you know, and the thing about it is people say, oh, you're so beautiful. I say, are we looking in the same mirror?
So silly. Yes, we are.
So, well, I see a person that have a lot of love and that really wants to continue making a difference.
Yes. All right. And what is the legacy that you hope to leave? And that you've already built so much, but what is the legacy that you hope to leave here in Rochester?
Oh, well, again, changing, making changes to, and giving back to families.
Yes.
Continue developing better housing options for families, getting people in bringing companies to neighborhoods, because that's one of the big problems that we have in Rochester. We have all of these neighborhoods, but there is no transportation. The jobs are in the suburbs.
Yes,
exactly. So let's bring manufacturing back to the States, and then those manufacturing to the neighborhoods. I have this really great friend of mine, Tyrone Reeves, and he runs this manufacturing company right on Clinton Avenue.
Wow, nice.
And he employs right from the neighborhood.
Nice.
And when I was at Ibero, that's what we did. We went to a neighborhood and we stay in that neighborhood. We rehab a building. We brought services and we employed people out of that community.
Yes.
That's what what we did. It was very impactful. A lot of the years that I worked on Clifford and Conkey, and it's a very distressed area. It's getting better, but I tell you, we have been in that neighborhood like for 50 years. I'm telling you, that's what I'm all about.
Yes, and with the word to be audacious means to be.
To be audacious?
Yes, what does audacious mean to you?
Oh, God.
Besides Dante, what else is it?
Dante is my...
Yes!
What do you think it is?
Listen, I'm living it. This is all the audaciousness right here, honey. I want to know what's on your mind, honey.
I am living it, too.
You're living it, honey.
I am living it now, and I will continue to live it even more.
Flip that here for them, girl. I love it. So tell people how they can find you online, how they can still support you. You have a website.
So yes, well, my political website is still there.
It's still there.
It's still there. It's Hilda4ny.
Yes.
.com.
Yes.
And you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram.
Yes.
All over social
all
media.
over the runways, honey, because she has the best style in the city right now. Come on and give them style!
Yes,
so until next time, remember that life is meant to be enjoyed and not just endured.